Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're listening to That Infernal Noise, now part of the Mental Health News Radio Network.
Devil, not no more for these, you call me Ichigo. Now I let my aura grow as I pull my Zanpakuto. Let me introduce you, his name is Angetsu. Well, he will only live if and when we let you. Been through a lot of things, killed oh so many hollows. Didn't know at first which path was the right to follow. I don't fight cause I want to win, I fight cause I have to. I will take my spirit energy and aim it right back at you. Fighting a nigga be Yakuya taught me a lot of things, like how to channel and harness all my hate and rage in the form of a bankai. I don't understand why I'm the only one fighting, all the others stand by. I'm not such a saint to promise that I'll risk my life for strangers. Neither am I scum enough to sit back while they're in danger. Everyone looking at me like I'm a superhero, like this is the Matrix and I'm playing Neo. But I'll see my duty through. What the fuck else would I do? Just let it all rot or leave it up to Udi. You a fuck all that now, cause I'm the one in full control. That is until the hollow takes control over my soul. I'm a fucking anime kid. 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 And if you don't like it, shut the motherfucker up.
All right, well, this episode is always, or as always, something more personal, something that that I'm currently going through.
The podcast is really just a vlog of our lives, if you really break it down.
It really is. But it's also relatable to other people. So I know that, wait, what's today? I don't even know what the date.
Saturday.
Well, I know, but the
The
date.
19th.
Is it the 19th?
Yeah, today's the 19th. I had to
Okay.
look to actually make sure. Because
Wow.
my dumbass almost looked up there, but then I realized I hadn't fucking changed it yet, so there's no point.
That's yesterday. I know that I didn't realize it had already been over 2 weeks. But on the 2nd, I quit my job.
Right after coming back from vacation.
Like days.
Because we came back, you started back on Tuesday. You
Quit on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And
Well, hold on. Before you get into everything else, what led up to it? You don't have to get specifics with, like,
well, yeah, no.
all that shit. Just, like, what was the general feeling of you leading up to that point?
I've worked customer service since I was 16. I don't think I've had a job except for maybe
One.
my accounts payable job
That's
that
what
I
was
had.
thinking of, too.
That it was extremely, extremely customer,
Service oriented.
yeah, very service industry. So, and my first job was fast food, and it didn't get any better from there because I moved from fast food to a bank, and then bank to retail, and then retail, and so on and so forth. It's just everything.
You know what weirds me out every time you say that phrase?
Because of Grandpa, and apparently you had never met anybody besides Grandpa.
I literally had never met anybody but Grandpa that said that phrase.
Well,
And it's not like weird. It's just one of those things. You're just like, okay, yeah, I understand why I picked you. Anyway, sorry, that's completely unrelated to anything.
so, and then on top of all of my trauma, people pleasing, being told that I'm the problem, in
A
obviously
roundabout way, in a quote unquote professional way,
way,
even though it wasn't at all, because you should not speak to people that way. But that's neither here nor there.
you know, so it was 37 years of bullshit, to be perfectly honest, that
Just
started
culminated.
it. Yeah. Because from ages 0 to, well, I got my first job at 16. So between those ages, I was already going through shit. Lots and lots of shit. And then I started a drive
A
through,
proper customer service
a proper service industry job, and it has literally just been
shit show since then.
because the service industry is a joke.
I could have fucking told you that. I don't even have any tenure in it, and I know that.
Yeah, it's and I try not to be too. You know me. I'm not full of myself. I don't.
You should be more in certain situations. I really do mean that. Like,
That's
you
fair.
should have more confidence in yourself than you do, but
I don't.
you've had a lifetime of bullshit to quell that.
Yes, of course. So after starting therapy almost 3 years ago,
It was weird to put that number to it, wasn't it?
yeah, it was. Because we were just talking about that the other day, and it is almost 3 years, and it's still trippy to say that. Because 3 years ago, I wasn't a completely different person, but I was a different person, 100%.
No, I would agree with that. Like,
1,000%.
we
I
were
was-
both very different people before the journey that we've gone on since then.
Because 3 years ago, I was ready to fucking Control-Alt-Delete. And that plays into this a little bit. Because I got on medication, and I was on medication for over 2 years. Something like that.
Roughly.
And then I got off of my medication, and I think I'm doing okay. I've been going through it right now.
You're doing a lot better than I expected you to coming off of your medication. I don't say that lightly. I'm being very serious whenever I say that.
Well, because you knew that I didn't take me coming off of my medication lightly. Because the psychiatrist I was seeing at the time was basically most people that get off, if they need it again, it is more times than not a lifetime prescription then.
And then you're constantly having to up it and do all of that
And adjust
bullshit.
and things
Yeah.
like that. And if I need to do that, I will. If that is the case, and if that had been the case, I would have gotten back on medication. And I will continue. Like, if 5 years from
It's
now,
still an option.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not off
always
the
going to
table.
be an
Yeah.
option now for me because
And I'm sorry for that, because I was staunchly against it for the longest time. Like, we should be able to handle it on our own, that type of shit.
just white knuckling the shit out of life.
That's how our generation was raised. Not just us, but like our entire generation.
That's fair.
It's like, you got to suck it up
Well,
and deal with it. And
we
we've
were-
talked about that a million times before.
And we were raised by people who
Had no coping skills
Zero.
whatsoever. It's just like,
Zero.
oh, that didn't happen. The fuck it didn't. Like,
I'm pretty sure I was there. That
was
happened.
serious shit in our generation that happened, that so many families and so many people just like, oh, we don't talk about that, and just sweep it under the rug. And I'm talking fucked up shit.
Yeah. And then if you were in therapy, it was,
You're fucking crazy.
wait, she's in therapy, so, hide all the forks because she's going to go on a stabbing. Like, it's not that. There's a lot less stigma now on mental health.
And there shouldn't have been a stigma in the first fucking place, but because everybody was so ill-equipped to deal with shit like this,
Agreed.
that it got put on it. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
that's the turn from the point. Side quest.
Side quest.
We have to make that a thing. That's
Yes.
so fucking cool.
But after almost 3 years of seeing a therapist, well, this year has been more as needed. I've graduated.
We both did. Luckily.
Yes, we did, and I'm proud of both of us because this shit is not fun. It's not easy. It's exhausting, especially if you've been through a lot already, going through your trauma. I'm shedding. We are going to talk about me shedding. I have hair everywhere, and some of it belongs to the dogs. The rest of it is me.
I was going to say something, but
Yeah, please don't. Whatever it is, don't. Just
I stopped.
Next time you
I
have
stopped.
a thought,
Just
let it go. And I just spilled water all over myself. That's good. Anyway,
You're going to have a streak of clean face right there.
yeah. Luckily, I'm with my makeup. It doesn't. like, I don't have it like
Caked on. Yeah.
caked. So it's not like, meh. Anyway. So after being in therapy for an extended period of time, actually realizing that I myself, and a lot of this pertains to me, but I think it can be taken and
in general.
yeah, because I think this is the case for everyone, or for a lot of people.
I was about to say it's probably not everyone, but because some people don't have the fucking voice in their head telling them how big of a piece of shit they are. So
that
blew my fucking mind.
Still
Anyway,
boggles my
I know
mind.
we talk about that all the time, but
Still boggles my mind. No inner monologue. That's fucking crazy. Anyway,
like just quiet and peace. What the fuck? Anyway,
I don't know what that is. Like,
I do, but
internally.
I have to be super baked for it to fucking happen. And I'm talking about like I'm not on this plane of existence baked.
That's fair.
Because then everything just kind of goes away. No, it's just like the best way I can explain it. It's the opposite of what like Rogan and them talk about with DMT. How it's all bright and like there's all this energy around. It's the exact opposite. It's just emptiness, but not in a scary way.
Okay.
It's like the black curtain just comes down over my senses, and I'm just like relaxed.
That's why I want to do a deprivation tank. By the way,
that's why I don't want to do a deprivation tank. I'd lose my fucking mind.
I
with one
want
of those
to hold, if it wasn't so expensive. Oh yeah, heartbeat. But
things. Side quest 2.
Side quest 2. We need to have a counter.
I'm not there yet. I'm still working up to shit like that.
Fair. That's fair. I got tired of fighting, to be honest. I got tired of fighting. And I know that they say, oh, well, you shouldn't take it personally. Well, when it's all, if
whenever
your
that's
job,
all it is, that's a problem. And it's hard not to take it personally because you can have somebody tell you you're a dumb piece of shit and you let it roll off your back. But if it's constant that somebody's telling you that, sooner or later you're going to start to believe that shit.
That, and it depends on mental health days. Like, if you're having a good day, then you just let
It's
it go.
not a big deal.
Whatever.
Yeah, it rolls off your back a lot easier.
Yeah. I'm surrounded by idiots. Okay, I get it. I communicate with...
but at what point do you not want to be surrounded by idiots anymore? You know what I mean?
And that's where I got...
even in our personal life, we've done that.
Yeah.
We've stopped associating with so many fucking people.
So many people.
Because, okay, well, what are you bringing to the table?
Yeah.
What are you offering?
What are you doing?
What benefit are you serving us?
And
I don't mean that in we deserve shit from everybody. I mean that this has to be a reciprocal relationship.
100%.
Like, I have to be getting something out of it the same way you are. I know what you're getting out of it because I know what I'm giving. So
time, effort.
What are you doing?
You know, I'm not going to be the one starting all conversations. I'm not going to be the one who offers to help all the time. If that is not, like you said, reciprocated. No. No.
Like, the people I'm willing to help in my life now are the ones that I know would ask for it. Like, if you don't ask for it, we're not playing this passive-aggressive bullshit where it's just like, oh, things are so hard right now, and they're just like, huh? Like, no. Like, either come out and say it, or we don't have the relationship I thought we did.
Yeah, because there are a few people, obviously you being the main one, that obviously I'm going to ask if you need help. But I know 100% that if you needed
something's
something
lacking
from me,
and I'm losing my shit, I will say something. I'll be
100%.
like, yo, I can't fucking deal with this shit right now. Will you do whatever, or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck it is? And vice versa.
Agreed.
You have a little bit more problem with it than I do, but
Yeah, I'm still...
you're working on that part, but you've gotten so much better than you were about it because you don't mind saying, I don't feel like doing shit today. Can we do whatever?
Fend for yourself. Grilled cheese sandwiches for dinner.
Well, whatever the
something, whatever it
situation is, yeah.
It's usually dinner. I have a problem with cooking. I don't like it. It's cooking, hands down.
You're a horrible mom. I can't believe you said that. I just enjoy the fact that you're honest and you're not afraid to be, because so many people are just like, oh no, I would never say that.
Well,
Like,
yeah. I mean,
and that's great for you, but that's not real. To me, it's not real.
But you know that stuff like that, I struggle with feeling like a bad mom because I'm not cooking these grandiose meals and, you know.
You were making food for 6 people the majority of your adult life.
Yeah.
Like,
for the past almost 12 years.
Almost 12 fucking years.
I've been cooking
That's what I'm saying.
Well, mostly of that for 6 people. Yeah.
And that's not counting all the get-togethers and all the other shit whenever Gabriel's not grilling.
That's fair.
And even then, you usually have to make something to go with it or something.
That's fair.
Regardless. Anyway,
But
Side Quest 3.
Yay. But I just got really tired of every day being a beatdown.
A continuous beatdown. Where there was like no break in the fucking clouds whatsoever.
Because it was like, oh yeah, the problems or the issues may not have been at a 10 every day, and you can attest to this one, but when it's like, oh, this is a fire drill and everything has to be done now and this and that. And
like yesterday.
Yes, like yesterday. I do not have it in me anymore at the age of 37 years old. I have 3 years, well, not even a full 3 years now. 2.5, roughly 2.5 years until I'm 40 fucking years old. I do not have it in me anymore to deal with the nonsense.
And constantly feel like you're fighting uphill and shit.
Yeah.
It's pointless.
And the biggest point, because I had already been feeling that way, I had already communicated with the job.
Yeah.
With my anxiety coming back.
And it was just like, oh, that sucks.
Here's more difficult shit. Like unnecessarily difficult. And
because people make it difficult.
Yeah.
Not because it's difficult, but because people overcomplicate shit.
That's correct. The tasks at my previous job were not difficult. I was a warranty administrator. Something was broken. Someone called. I sent someone to go fix it. Mm-hmm. And facilitated
and ideologically,
parts.
that sounds very simple. And it should be very simple.
Mm-hmm. Actually doing the things are not hard.
Problem. Yeah.
It's a company that doesn't know what to do with a department, first of all. First and foremost, it's a company that does not know what to do with the department and doesn't know how to support that department. And then it's just the assholes that people are when it comes to quote unquote their shit.
Their shit's more important.
Yes, their money is more important. Their location's more important.
Well, this is a big client. All of them are supposed to be big clients.
Yes, like, if the general company motto is being customer obsessed, it doesn't matter if that owner has 160 stores or 6 stores.
They should both get equal
all
attention.
Of their units that have that company's name on it is still an important person. Mm-hmm. Or that's how, like you said, it should be.
Yeah, because otherwise you're telling me that higher dollar amounts means more importance.
Yes, and then of course I have to deal with the actual big wig
corporate bullshit.
Well, not even the corporate. It's the franchisees who own.
That's corporate bullshit.
Fair.
It's just not your corporate bullshit. It's somebody else's corporate bullshit that they put on you.
And just the way that people speak to other people, I don't have it in me anymore. And I know a lot of people would be like, "Well, you're an adult. You got to suck it up."
No,
I don't have to do that.
You don't have to do a goddamn thing in this world except get old and fucking die. That is it.
Yeah, and and that was a big thing.
And apparently pay taxes.
Yeah, federal prison. We do pay our taxes because we're here, obviously. Like, I get it. But So the thing that kind of just, it made me, because usually I'm not that one to just quit.
No.
I'm usually, even though they would not give me 2 weeks if they were going to fire me,
No job would in this day and fucking age.
Agreed.
Ever.
But luckily,
especially in the state of fucking Texas.
Luckily, the great state of Texas is an at-will for employers and employees, so fuck you, I don't have to give you 2 weeks. Period. End of story. No one does unless it's in a contract. And a lot of people don't realize that either.
No, because they don't want to burn any bridges and shit like that. Well, the
I don't
company
care.
doesn't give a fuck about burning a bridge with you as an employee.
Nope.
So why do you give a shit about them? Because it used to be, we've had this conversation a million times. It used to be longevity. Companies would take care of their employees
so
to
they
the
would
point
want
of
to
retirement.
Mm-hmm. So they want to stay. So
and
they
there
want
was
to work.
incentives and there was pensions and all of this shit in place. And now it's the customer, the employee having to do all that for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me that, oh, I can't believe this younger generation doesn't want to have the same longevity at these companies and blah, 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 blah. The companies don't want the longevity with the employee either.
No.
Because if something happens, that person is so easily replaceable. It doesn't matter. You could drop dead. You could quit. You could go to rehab. Anything. And
they will
somebody
have
is
you
sitting in your
filled.
fucking seat inside of a week type thing.
Or like a company that I just left.
They'll take all of your work and divvy it out to everybody else and making their job more difficult instead of being employee-centric and wanting to retain said employees. And then they wonder why they can't keep anybody in that fucking department.
It's a shit show.
Anyway.
Sorry. Show. But
I take this just almost as personal as you do.
I know you do. Just like when you talk about your job, I'm like, what the fuck? And of course, you know, since we're married, the lingo of your position, I already know. So I'm just, and I don't mind asking what shit is either. So if you're like, if you pop off a new acronym, I'm like, excuse me, what the hell is that?
What the fuck is that one? Like, oh.
Haven't heard that one before. But I spent a long time, and I don't mean at this job, I just mean in life,
general,
being people's doormat. People have used me, taken advantage of me in so it's disgusting how many ways, how many.
Oh.
Yeah, no, not that. Well,
that's another fucking story.
Not by you. Well, hey, that's consent. We've talked.
It's consensual non-consent. I mean,
it's a thing.
Realistically, that is kind of what it is. We have
Google CNC. It's okay.
Working agreement anyway.
Anyway, if you have questions, let me know. But on top of not wanting to fight and constantly prove, and I also did run that department for a quarter by myself as a new person. I was the tenured, and I left shortly after 9 months. I was the tenured person in that department. That says so many things about the department, the company, and I feel bad for middle management, like the person I was directly. Yeah. I feel bad. And I don't feel bad for leaving at all. I feel bad for the position that he personally was in, because I know that he is trying.
He has to get it from both ends. He has to he has to hear out you guys, but also hear the bitching from the higher up.
And ultimately, we're not going to win.
He can't do anything.
Low man on totem pole is not going to win these fights. And we went on vacation on, the 27th? We left the 27th of July. And we came back first. So I went back to work on the 1st.
You went back to work on the 1st. We came back before that.
And
those 2 days that we were home,
I was
like, it fucked everything.
Because we
up.
came home. Well, we left
came
that
home on
Sunday.
Sunday.
And that whole Monday, because I got a phone call, and I do appreciate my old coworker
Giving you the heads
giving
up.
me, because this happened while we were gone. The day we left, actually.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bunch of bullshit that happened. And ultimately, when I came back, my boss wasn't even in the office. He was working remotely, even though we couldn't. But
That's a whole nother
that's
fucking
a
thing.
whole other thing. And he even came in to have a conversation with me about all the stuff that happened. And like I said, it wasn't out of nowhere. I had expressed concerns multiple times. I had expressed my own personal, hey, what can we do? I'm feeling this way. I developed a whole new fucking eye twitch. I've had an eye twitch since this is good. If this just gives anybody like a brief insight to my nervous system and how much shit that I've been through, I've had an eye twitch since I was 16. And in the oh wait, was I there longer than 9 months?
It really doesn't matter.
Regardless. Anyway, since the beginning of this year, and especially after the first quarter of this year, I developed another, like a brand new eye twitch. And I expressed that. And it's like, okay, and it was in one ear, out the other, and no one cared. So there had been some buildup, and there'd been a lot going on, and it causes burnout. And especially in someone who is already burned out in life. Not because their current situation, it's fucking decades of trauma. And
that shit's residual and it doesn't go away overnight.
Yeah.
Like you have to work through it and to get it completely out and shit.
I will probably be working on the physical aspects of my anxiety for a long time.
Probably the rest of your fucking life. I mean, I hope it doesn't take that long, but
Yeah.
it's possible.
It could take another 37 years.
Easily.
And that sucks. And I hate that. And I didn't
But
even
at
think
the
about
same
that
time,
until just now.
it goes into you're constantly growing and evolving anyway, so it's not like
Yes.
you're going to be having to do the heavy lifting
Yeah.
that entire time. The
It's
heavy lifting
still-
is like this much of it, and then you have the bigger journey where you're still working on shit, but it's not as
Yeah.
prevalent.
But the physical, because I'm the youngest one of our friend group, and my body, like physically, and this is not a joke or anything, is falling apart the fastest. I have the most physical ailments out of all of our friends, all of our circle, all of our like people. And that's for a reason. And when I voiced those things, and
To the employer.
yes, to the employer, and it was just like, well, sorry, there's nothing we can do for you. Okay. That started a little while back, and then the vacation thing happened, and then
As soon as we were on our way back, as soon as we were driving back from Oklahoma, it was like
my whole demeanor changed.
Everything fucking changed, and I saw it, and I mentioned it while we were driving. I was like, dude, fucking for real, and not like talking shit to you, but just this shit ain't right. Like, you could see that there's a problem. I can physically see that there's a problem.
Right.
Because as soon as we're heading back, immediately you're a different fucking person.
And then I
because
got
you
a phone-
know the bullshit you're walking into.
Yeah, and then I got a phone call the day after we got back, so that Monday, and that I couldn't eat dinner. We went to Snuffers. I wanted to eat that burger so
You were looking forward to that
bad.
burger from the time we left the fucking cabin.
so bad. I wanted a burger, like a really good burger, not some bullshit fast food burger. And I ate half of the patty, and that was it. I had 2 fries. I could
and their
not
fries
eat.
are fucking dope too.
I couldn't eat. I was waking up. I hadn't woke up with anxiety in years. And this job, this position, this company
Did it to you.
starting from October of last year. Actually, I had another person in the department, and it wasn't as crazy. And the changes that they were trying to make at the department hadn't been put in place yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't as fucking psycho.
Batshit, yeah.
Yeah. And then all the changes that they were wanting to do and implement and and not compensate for the extra tasks that they were giving. And it was just a lot.
Part of your job. No, the fuck it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No, it was not. But
and
whatever.
Then the job posting after that part cracked me the fuck
That
up.
made me fucking laugh heartily. And then finding out, she doing okay? She need a job? No, I don't. Thanks.
Like, I don't know. Are you going to change all this shit or pay me an insane amount of money to deal with it? No? Okay.
Then no, I don't need a job. Thanks. But some shit happened with some of my work.
Your accounts.
My
whatever,
accounts,
yeah.
my stuff, while I was gone. And I had a feeling that something might happen. Just
Because it had
Oh,
been a
excuse me.
nightmare the entire fucking way.
Yeah, that customer, that client had already been
A problem.
a problem. The chain in general
Is a problem.
is a problem because, and I have to talk shit, the company chose not to make certain changes or are taking forever to come to decisions on how to make these units better so they don't fuck up.
Yada, yada, yeah.
Whatever.
Which they should.
They should.
That's how machinery and business works. You figure out more efficient ways and better things to do.
Yeah, but you don't drag your feet.
I'm trying to be nice right now.
I'm not. Anyway.
Fair enough.
Some shit happened, and then basically, like I said, my boss wasn't even in, came in, and I was told,
This is the way it's going to be, basically.
yeah,
Sorry.
because even though I wasn't even there, I should have done more to prevent it, even though there was really nothing else.
There was no preventative steps you could have taken
And
to
that-
prevent the shit that happened.
And that several people dropped the ball, including the company, which that just means me, because no one else works on my stuff but me, and unless you're out, unless you're sick, and then even then, your whole workload isn't looked at. It's anything that comes in that's an emergency. So if a coworker had been out and they were like, oh, we need to order parts for their ticket, I could have done that. And vice versa. And I had a great, fucking great coworker who took care of it like a boss. But when I came back, it was, I could have motherfuckers, I was not here. What? I don't know what you wanted. And just because that son of a bitch decided to, as a grown-ass man, throw a fit. And then I was literally told, verbatim, that I needed to change my mindset on how things were because nothing was going to change. And I died a little inside. And I mean that sincerely, because I had to
It had to be disheartening.
It was.
You were trying to do the best job possible. You were voicing these concerns in order to help the company. Yes, it would alleviate stress on you, but you saw an opportunity to better the process.
And fuck you. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. That's what it was. And then I went back to my desk. I walked. And he did bring up a valid point. One valid point is that I was doing the bare minimum. I was doing my job description only.
Getting bare minimum pay.
And
you are giving me bare minimum effort in trying to fix all of said issues. You were not giving me the support and the processes that we have set forth, nobody has to adhere to them. Okay, at what point am I incentivized to go above and beyond for all of these motherfuckers that force me to go above and beyond every single time? Because it's the rule instead of the exception that it should be.
Yep.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. And then, and I went back to my desk. I remember, and I flat out told him, because when he brought up, oh, well, you're not putting forth as much as you were. I was like, I know. Straight faced. I was like, yeah, I'm frustrated. I'm tired. And I feel like
it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
And it only got worse. So.
And then what made me feel so, it gave my whole body a hug, was a few days later, because you know me, just because I leave a place doesn't mean that I still don't know what's going on at that place. My past 2 jobs, I have people there that I talk to, and it's like, what's going on? Actually, I don't make phone calls just to talk about. I talk to the people. You
actually care about people.
Yeah, the people I'm talking to, I care about. And then the previous jobs that they are still at, that I am no longer at, I can still connect and be like, oh, that's insane, because that's stupid. But leaving his desk and going back to my desk, and it wasn't a far walk. It was 30 steps, maybe, from his desk to mine. It was a long walk, and I just sat there, and I had to take some time to breathe, because I was going to start crying at work, which had not been the first time because
of all the bullshit
of the other stuff. And of course, running a department that is meant for at least 3 administrators, at least 3, more like 4.
4 comfortably, 3 in a pinch.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I was the only one doing it. For 4 months? 3 months? 4 months? 4 months. Almost. And I was just like, oh my God. I have to come back here tomorrow. I have to come back here tomorrow. Oh my God. And I went back. I fucking worked. I did more work. And it hurt. It was like picking up, like my arms were made of lead. Like it hurt to breathe. I was just so. And in that moment, it was just, I have to do something before I fucking snap. And I don't mean like snap and like literally go postal. Nothing scary. That's not who I am. But I would have broke. Mm-hmm. And pieces of me that I've already been trying to repair would have re-broke, and then I would have been really fucking pissed. Mm-hmm. Because they're not worth it.
Nobody's worth it.
No.
Like, our peace and our sanity is not worth any amount of bullshit.
No, it's not. And
I have no desire to deal with it. There's been certain situations, opportunities, whatever you want to call it, and both of us have just been like, not feeling it.
Mm-mm.
You know, and it's not necessarily an indictment of the people per se.
No.
It's just, it's the vibe, and the vibe I'm not chilling with anymore. It's like whenever we came back, whenever we were on vacation, we went to the casino. I did not, from the moment we walked in that motherfucker, I did not like the vibe in there.
It was gross.
Whatsoever. Like, there was just so much conflicting fucking energy.
And it was so weird because we, like, the 6 of us had went to dinner. We had so much fun.
Great. We had a fucking blasty blast.
singing.
It was
we
awesome.
were, joking, laughing, this and that and the other.
Making
and
fun
like,
of Mandy for eating that whole fucking
I
dessert.
cannot believe she ate that whole fucking thing.
That shit was fucking crazy.
Massive.
I mean, it was a great night. It was a great night.
And then
the older
minute-
ones were watching the younger ones. Everybody was chilling. There was no problems.
The minute we walked in that building, though,
it fucking
reeked.
It just like grabbed you. Well,
Yeah.
me at least. Like I can't speak for everybody else.
It
And I know
was-
the other four had fun, and I felt bad.
I did feel bad too, because I'm not trying to ruin everybody else's time.
I did not fucking like that shit.
Nope, I didn't either. Not even a little bit.
And it's the same principle with everything else now. It's just I think about whatever scenario it is, and I just kind of play it out in my head, and not in a worst case scenario way like I used to, but just I know this, and this is going to be happening. It's usually drinking and shit like that, and I have no desire anymore. Like, even being around alcohol at this point. You were fucking emptying bottles yesterday, and that shit, it like turned both of our stomachs.
Like,
Just smelling it.
yeah, if other people are drinking,
Like, we don't give it. Like,
No.
I'm not that guy. I don't give a
No.
shit. But
You
it's just,
drink.
if it's a drinking situation, it's not my thing anymore.
yeah.
And that sucks because that was a big part of
Like, if we were going to like a show or a party or something like that, I can completely understand being around a bunch of drinkers and being around drunk people, or a comedy club or something like that. You know what I mean? That's one thing, but partaking, and because the last time I drank was
Gabriel's birthday.
gross. That was what, in May?
It was like 2 weeks after his birthday, so it was like end of May.
End of May. Okay. But still, gross.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like shit for like 4 days. My body.
That's the older part. Kicking
My
in,
body
though.
was just like, bitch, you're trying to do what now? No, could not. It was, and then just pouring out the alcohol, and we'd had that's alcohol.
It's been sitting in there for 3-4 fucking years at this point.
Yeah, we don't drink. Mm-hmm. We may have an occasional beer here and there, or an occasional like celebratory shot that we do, but
It's very seldom at this point.
man,
It's non-existent now.
because
I think we had one whenever we were on vacation, where all of us were sitting there for the girls' birthdays,
Oh yes,
and that was it.
the one.
Well, that was all we had.
Yeah, I don't need to drink anymore.
I don't
like
want.
to.
No, it's not even. I don't need to drink.
I don't want to.
fucking want
Man,
to drink.
pouring out that bottle of tequila, I almost vomited, and
I saw
I'm not
it. I was sitting right fucking here, and I was watching you do it, and it was just like,
because hey, I don't gag much, but like that hit my
that's
stomach.
not true.
You know what I mean?
Sorry. I do things to make myself laugh sometimes.
But,
It's like, but my whole point with that Side Quest 4 is we don't do that in our personal lives. We don't deal with things that make us purposely stressed, uncomfortable, anxious, anything anymore. So
No.
why the fuck would I get paid to do that?
just because for money? No.
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 And-
there are no.
Without getting too far into it, I was pretty close to doing the exact same thing that you did at one point. This was a while ago now, but we're just like, fuck it. I don't want to deal with this bullshit anymore.
Yep.
And for me, it was a little bit different because I realized that, well, because it all happened like right around the time that Grandma was getting really sick, and we knew that it was getting close to time.
Yeah.
Because it was right around November-ish that I was just at my fucking breaking point. And
Yeah.
I was close to losing my shit for real again for the umpteenth time. And I knew something had to give. And it was like as soon as Grandma passed in December, the entire world changed for me. And I know that sounds grandiose or what the fuck ever, but you've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm a completely different person since the day we buried her. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean in a good way.
I agree.
Because death has always affected me profoundly. You've seen me with several people that have passed since we've been together.
Right.
And it fucks with me. It fucks with me a lot. And that one did too. Obviously, she was the fucking one that raised me. If it didn't fuck with me, there's something wrong.
I would look at you kind of sideways.
I'm like, what kind of fucking psycho are you?
Especially with how much you cared for her. Yeah.
And how much she cared for me. And and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I've said it to just you. You and her are the only two people that I've ever felt loved me unconditionally. Removing the kids from the equation. But then again, they don't fucking like me sometimes.
They always love you, though.
They always love me. But, I mean, unconditionally. Where they'll put up with all manner of my bullshit. Because they don't. They'll get tired of it. They're like, oh, what the fuck ever, and just walk off. You'll actually just let me burn myself out, basically. And the only other person I have ever met my entire life that did that was my grandmother.
Now I understand why you want a husky. You get the zoomies. You just gotta let you fucking fizzle out.
And then
Yeah.
just fall over and I'm like, okay, I'm good.
And then their howling is just you talking.
Constantly. I like to hear myself talk, apparently. But the way I found my peace was through all of that, because it just sent my brain into overdrive and not in the self-deprecation hatred spiral that I would normally go through.
Let's get fucked up.
It
Fuck
was the
shit up.
exact opposite.
Yeah.
It was, there's not enough time left. Regardless of how much time is left, there's not enough time left.
No.
And if I'm going to do anything to make myself happy, it has to be now. There's no point in waiting. There's no point in doing
100%.
anything else. Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, I could still be responsible. Yes, I could still take care of all the shit that I need to take care of.
Yeah,
with that.
we have kids.
But first
still.
and foremost is I have to be fucking happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not happy, none of this other shit's going to fucking matter. It's not going to matter if
I'm miserable,
we have millions in the bank,
right,
or what the fuck ever. It's going to make no shit difference if I'm still the same miserable cunt that I've always been.
Right. And
luckily, I realized that Texas had the compassionate use program. That has been a lifesaver. Figured out fucking microdosing. That has opened up so much of my brain and so much of my heart on top of that. And I know that sounds super fucking hippie.
And I was very, very kind of leery of it as well. And I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Especially after that last time you did.
Wow.
Like,
wow.
It when used in a
more clinical form,
more clinical fashion, to where you know that some shit's about to happen and you just let whatever come, it's a completely different fucking animal than using it to get fucked up. Like, I haven't used anything to get me fucked up in years. Not purposely. I've gotten accidentally fucked up, but that shit, whenever you're not expecting it, it's a scary fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, for you.
My brain goes to that Thanksgiving where I
just with the sucker?
Stole that fucking sucker, and then it was just like, oh no.
I'm going cross-eyed.
No, it felt like Rick and Morty. Am I in a fucking K-hole? Like, because that's what it felt like. It was just like, oh, this is not good. And everybody thought I was mad, but I wasn't mad. I
thought you were pissed.
I was fucking trying to hold on to reality. So it looked like I was pissed off. I was just scared.
That's fair.
But regardless.
That was a horrible... It was a good Thanksgiving, but it was a horrible
night.
Because we were all having to pee on side of the house because the plumbing had fucked up. Oh my God, that was hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, it was...
But that's how I found my happiness.
Yeah.
And not through drugs, but the drug...
helped process.
It helped rewire my brain.
Yeah.
Finally. And not in a substance abuse way. It wasn't the addict way that
No, I knew what you
all of my rewiring has happened. You know what the fuck I'm talking
Yes,
about?
I do. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because there is a difference. Like,
Agreed.
alcohol rewired my brain in the worst way possible.
Because it kills
Because-
off those connections
it-
and those cells.
For me, I've always equated it to whenever I put alcohol in my brain, it turns off the now and turns on the then.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
I revert
Whoa.
to my younger ages whenever I'm drunk. And
Not good.
It turns into a goddamn shit show.
I love you with my whole heart and my whole butt. Yes, that's exactly what happens. Because I remember times where you would bring up shit and it's like, where the fuck did that come
That
from?
never even happened in our relationship because I'm reliving 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Well, not 10 years ago, but you know what I mean at the time. Like,
Yeah,
I was
that's
reliving
exactly
that
what you did.
shit all over again, and you turned into said person.
Yeah.
It's just like, and with the psychedelics and with the pot, it's the exact opposite. I'm in the moment, but cognitively aware
Of everything
the
that
other
has
shit.
happened. Yeah.
And I'm able to categorize it and move it to a beneficial place instead of being stuck in that negative place.
Or it's stuck on repeat and loops. And it just...
And then it just perpetuates.
Yeah.
And then it turns into something bigger than it ever was to begin with. You know, and I don't want that. And because of her death, and I guess initially searching for the infinite, because I know that's probably why I started doing it subconsciously. It's just I wanted to be connected to the infinite, to be connected to her again type thing.
And that's okay.
And
I think. Temporarily.
but
as
I
long as
did
you don't stay in it.
find that, but not through her.
Yeah. It was through your own work and own realizations and of things like that.
And it's just like
I agree.
I found my religion.
I'm still looking for mine.
And I don't mean that
I know what
we
you mean.
found God and all that
No.
stuff. Because, I mean, but yes, in a way, yes. Because I have found this deeper spirituality.
You didn't find religion.
But it is, I mean, it's all the same shit. I'm saying the same thing that my sister and my mom say.
Very fair.
And they're both Christian, but they're different denominations, obviously.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. Because I've had that conversation with both of them. Like, I believe the same things you do. I just don't call it the same thing.
Yeah. And
like, I believe in the infinite. I believe we're all one. I believe we're all interconnected and that there should be peace, love, and light and all of that stuff. And, like, I found that because of Grandma's death.
Yeah.
And going on my own, I don't know, spirit quest
Journey.
or whatever the fuck. And peyote would have been real good if I had that. But I figured myself out because of those things.
Yeah.
And because of all of that, to get back to the fucking original point, is how I was able to deal with work, because I did reframe my thinking.
Right.
You know, it's like it's not as much of a beating now. The same shit's still fucking happening.
Right.
But I can deal with it better.
Yeah.
Because I'm not dealing with all of the other bullshit that I got going on inside of my head. I was able to get that stuff out, compartmentalize it, move it to the side, and like, okay, I've dealt with this now.
Right.
I can focus on the present moment.
Right. And it may make me look
You're the only one that
weaker?
thinks that. And if anybody else thinks that, fuck them. I don't care.
for not sucking it up and not just changing how I look about it. And I know that somebody might say that, and that's fine. But
it doesn't matter. It's not their experience. It's your experience. And you're tired of feeling like that, which I am 100% behind.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing that I pushed you to do our entire relationship is
and I'm just now
be fucking happy and
I'm just now
stand up for yourself. Because I have no problem standing up for you. I'll tell anybody and their mama and your mama to go fuck themselves.
Yes.
Because I don't give a shit about them. I give a shit about you.
Correct.
So.
But with going back to the vibe and how you feel, I know that no matter how much, because, okay, first of all, if universe forbid something happened to you and I had to be the breadwinner of this house, that place, I would have been able to pay rent.
Maybe.
And no, I would have been able to pay rent, but water, lights, food would not have been an option. And so there's that, first of all. Second of all, if I'm going to be at a place for 8 hours a day, that does nothing but beat me down, regardless of how I look at it. If I am not good mentally, I'm going to come home and what?
Do exactly what I did. Take it out on everybody fucking else.
And while our methods would have been different,
the results still would have been the same.
I would have been to myself. I would have stayed. I would have sat in my spot on the couch, or I would have sat in where I usually sit in the room, and I would just, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I fucking hate your fake smile. I
know.
hate it
I know
so
you do.
Fucking much.
I know you do.
Because I could see it, and it's heartbreaking to because you have arguably the most beautiful smile I've ever seen, and I'm not just saying that because I'm your fucking husband. You have a gorgeous fucking smile, and seeing you naturally smile, it legitimately makes me happy. And then seeing you do the fake smile, it does the exact opposite. It hurts. It hurts my feelings. Not even that it's me that did something.
Yeah.
It hurts my feelings because I know what you have to be feeling in that moment.
In order to pace that,
Sorry.
No. But you're right, because having to smile like that is so taxing. It is so, it feels hard. They say, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. When I have to put on that smile, it feels like the exact opposite.
Whenever you have to fake it, it probably is the opposite.
So overwhelming just to like.
Don't do that. I don't like that at all.
But it's like, why am I going to harm myself? Maybe not physically, obviously not physically. I haven't done anything like that since I was in my 20s, why, but just because it's not, I'm not self-harming in some physically doesn't mean that it's not self-harm.
Mentally
because
or emotionally,
all I'm doing is just beating the shit out of myself because I can't fix it. I can't look at this a different way. I can't just suck it up. And then I have to try to knock back other people, other people are going to look at me differently. Other people are going to think I'm weak. Other people I'm going to think that, I should have just sucked it up and how selfish of me and how this and how that. And it's like,
I know this sounds very narcissistic, but it only matters what I fucking think. And you know what I mean by that.
Because you're my husband.
I'm the only one that sees the real you 24/7.
Correct.
Fuck them. Nobody matters in this equation. I don't even fucking matter in this equation, but I have a better perspective on it than anybody else does.
And you did tell me that because even before I actually quit, we had talked about putting a timeline on my time at that company. But you even said that timeline was so I could feel better about leaving.
Having a drop dead date.
Yeah.
That's how I put it.
And you didn't even do that because you're like, I think you should suck it up or stick it out for another X amount of time. That was solely for me. Yeah. So I had time to prepare mentally for that. And the universe was like,
here's some more shit. Good luck with that plan.
Yeah. Because the universe was like, no, bitch. The universe was like, no.
This ain't gonna get no better.
It's-
That's what I took out of that
Yeah.
whole fucking thing. Is like, this isn't gonna get better. Here's your sign that it's not going to. Here is somebody directly saying that this shit's not gonna change.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And because that day, I remember I did go back. I worked for like another hour and some change. Maybe 2 hours. And I felt like that was like one of the very first times I had felt like I let myself down
By continuing to do the same
by
bullshit.
staying. And you know that is not something that I usually do. That is not
It's the exact opposite.
No.
You'll sacrifice yourself for fucking everything
I
and everyone else.
I will wear myself. I will wear my fingers to the bone. I will put myself in the hospital from like just exhaustion, dehydration, whatever, working myself to help everyone else, regardless of how I'm feeling. And because we've had plenty of conversations, we've watched many podcasts, we've listened to so many doctors talk about change. We've done all of these things. We see therapists. We try to better ourselves. And even within that time, I had never felt like I let myself down or I betrayed myself or my boundaries or my, because obviously before the therapy, I guess I had felt it, but it was just like, no, just everything's fine. But in my healthier brain, in my healthier habits, in my healing, that was the first time, I think, that I felt like I fucking let myself down by going back and trying. I tried so hard to keep working that day. And I went to lunch and I clocked out and I was planning on going back, and because I left all my shit there, and I talked to
I'm
you.
the bad influence.
No, you're not the bad influence, because I wanted to so bad. I remember I came home. I don't even remember what we got. Maybe Panda. I don't know. But I remember I got food. I came here. I was sobbing. Just sobbing. I was like, literally nothing's going to change. I was told nothing's going to change. And that even though there was literally nothing I could have done to prevent it. There was nothing I could have done to make the situation easier, except overextending myself.
For the betterment of the company, not for the betterment of you.
Right. Or it would have been just the betterment of that one customer, that one.
That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, that one. It would have just benefit like that one. It was bullshit. Fuck it. I'm just going to call it what it was. Bullshit. And I was told something that was fucking ridiculously bullshit. And after lunch, because you and I had a conversation, I was like, and you did nothing but support me. And I am forever fucking grateful.
I'm sorry
for
that hasn't always been my policy, by the way.
That it's not okay. It wasn't okay that it happened, but you and I have had conversations about stuff like that, about the past, and I do forgive you, and I'm just happy I have it now. To have someone say, look, fucking, I got you 100%. It's going to be tight. We will figure something else out. And we are.
I think my exact words were, we've done more with
less. I mean, the cost of living when we had less the original time.
Regardless, the sentiment still remains the same.
It is.
It's like, we can make this shit work.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And luckily, we raised kids who don't give a shit about having hot dogs or smoked sausage and rice.
Or ramen.
Or bowls of cereal.
I actually like ramen. But I do too. I like ramen.
I've
always liked ramen.
The only one who kind of has an issue with it is Logan.
Yeah, but he's bougie
super
as fuck.
Super picky eater. But
bougie, that's what I said.
Oh, slow down, Mr. Semi.
Fuck you. I have gotten
Semi-bougie.
so much better about that shit, and I will try fucking everything now.
That's fair.
So,
But in that day,
sorry, I was gonna say something else, and I just stopped myself. I'm like, hold on.
yeah, I don't even know where you were going with that. But
It has to do with my tastes and how they've developed. Palate's not as
I can only imagine where
you're
a
probably exactly there.
Okay.
Just let it go.
Okay. But and I know that not everyone can do what I did. I know
Yeah,
that
a lot of people don't have that fucking option. Either financially they can't, or they don't have a partner that'll support them, or whatever the fucking situation is.
And
I'm not tooting my own horn by saying that. I'm just saying, like,
no, there
I
are
think
literally some people out there who don't have someone to help them.
I'm saying I'm not doing a great service to you by
Just
that.
just working your job that you had already been working.
No, by telling you it's okay, I got you.
Oh.
Like I'm not like that's what should fucking happen. Nobody should pat me on the back for that.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant by just like, oh, you work your job and that you're just going to keep working your
but
job.
I've been doing it for so fucking long that it's just like it's not a big deal to me anymore.
That's fair.
And that's recent development. Still get irritated.
Also
with
fair.
Shit.
Also fair.
Ask my boss.
Yes. Yesterday was a perfect example of that. But, and I feel bad. I do kind of like survivor's guilt that I'm able to do something like that.
Oh, that you're on the other side of it?
Kind of, but it also fucking, the up here still fucking, well, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have quit. You shouldn't have.
But you did. So what now?
Shit I could do about it now.
That's my point. It's like, well, okay, your brain can think that all the fuck it wants, but it's already done. So.
And I'm the only one tripping on it.
Yeah. And how many times have I told you that since it happened?
So many.
It's like you're the only
So
one
many.
fucking freaking out about this shit.
Yeah.
Like everybody else is fine. I'm fine. I don't have any fucking problems with it.
Right.
So. And that's not one of those things where, like, I'll get with Gabriel and be like, secretly talk shit. Like, no, it's not even that. Because I've seen so many fucking people do that. Where it's just like they're telling their spouse one thing and then they're commiserating elsewhere. Like, I don't do that. I've never fucking done that.
That makes me happy.
To the point where Gabriel didn't trust my opinion of you. Initially. Like, before we all started hanging out again, he was like, you can't fucking care about her that much. I was like, yeah, the fuck I can. Like, I mean that shit whenever I say it. I don't have those inclinations that I used to with her. I don't know why. I don't. Like, I'm truly fucking happy. And I know it sounds like I'm sucking your dick right now, but.
Keep going. No, I'm joking. But. I say all of that, and I do feel bad that, that society is the way it is, and people can't leave their shit-tastic jobs, or the fact that
more people are wising up, though, and
Yes.
I am so happy for that, because that eventually is going to have to make employers address the bullshit that's going on.
Yeah. Because eventually there's not going to be anybody who will do all of the extra shit that they want for someone who is coming in making a non-livable wage. And I do mean that across the board. So,
It's everywhere now.
either the cost of living needs to go down, or
God forbid.
right? Or, I mean, all of the money's made up anyway.
Literally at this point, because everything's digital currency, whether or not anybody really realizes it.
Well, even when everyone was doing like paper money, it's all made up. It's all printed. It's all like just created. Like, it's not real.
Well, I'm saying they had a gold standard at one point, so the dollars were backed by
the amount of gold that were
actual
okay. That's fair.
capital.
After the gold standard ended in what, like
whatever the fuck it was. I don't even know what year it was.
74, I want to say. I could be extremely wrong, by the way. But after that, okay, our money means nothing now. How many times has the government just been like, "Oh, we're gonna
The
put
Fed just approved da-da-da-da-da." Like,
That doesn't-
where the
that's-
fuck is that coming from?
they're just making the cotton paper and then printing people's faces on it. That's all that's going
Well, now
on.
it's not even that complicated. They just add another fucking zero, and then all of a sudden, all the problems are fixed, and then they can't figure out why inflation keeps happening the way it is. It's like you're creating money out of thin fucking air.
Inflation's up like 3.3%.
I'm not.
It's ridiculous.
I'm not a master in finance, but I know that if you create money out of nothing, that devalues the rest of the money.
Yeah.
That's how that... anyway.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm going to get on another fucking...
I tell this story to maybe give some hope to someone out there who's just like, because it's hard. You can change your mindset. You can.
I'm very happy to hear you say that, because you don't always believe that about yourself.
No, I don't. But I know, even if they were like, "Oh, we'll give you more money."
I've told you, and I've told everybody that I've ever talked to about a job, you need to figure out the dollar amount that you're willing to take to deal with the bullshit that they're going to give you.
Right.
That's
And
God's honest truth.
I don't think they would have been able to give me the amount of money.
Most people don't, but that's where the compromise comes into play. It's like, okay, I can come down on this, and I need to...
There was going to be none of that.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yes. But I say that, or I tell this story to maybe just even on a personal level, if there's one person that is not vibing with you anymore and it's taxing to be around that person.
Or you feel like you're the one making all of the effort or whatever the situation is. Because we've dealt with a lot of that too.
It's okay to stick up for yourself. And I'm learning that. And I'm not saying, I'm not telling you as someone who has done this for years and years and
My
years.
entire life I've been like this.
No,
This
I
is a
have
new development.
From August 2nd, 2023 is the first time I stuck up for myself in a professional setting.
You figured out the other stuff. Like, you figured out how to stand up for yourself
Yes.
with
But even that
other shit.
there was certain situations that we did a couple years ago that we deuced out on. And that was a couple years ago.
And you've questioned that too. You see what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, you're going to question the decision you made.
Right. And everyone
But-
is going to question the decisions they make.
But you, with the particular situation I know you're talking about, you have seen the benefit. You know what I mean? Like, you've seen the result, and you're like, well, with this result, I know I wasn't wrong.
Yeah. Because I wasn't.
I know.
That whole situation was fucked.
I agree.
And subsequent bullshit that happened after.
It's
And
okay to stand up for yourself.
It is.
I had to do a little bit more standing that time,
You did.
but
the thing is that no matter how you show up for yourself, even if you do question it, even if you're like, oh my God, did I make the right, am I overreacting?
done.
It's one, if you feel that way, it's not a bad thing.
it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes you make stupid fucking decisions.
No, I mean,
Not you. I mean the general you.
oh yes. But I mean, if they decide to cut ties with somebody, or if they decide to say, I'm not going to be in these situations anymore.
Setting a boundary.
Especially if there's people in their lives that won't respect those boundaries, will push those boundaries, will question those boundaries. First and foremost, you owe no one
shit. Familial, otherwise, you don't.
I don't
owe
care.
Anybody. You don't owe me a fucking thing.
Do not give a shit. If my answer is no, the answer is no. Period. End of story. Because no is a complete sentence. A lot of people don't know that.
I've seen it in books. N-O period. Sentence.
Done. Whole thing.
Oh, excuse me. Capital N, little o, period.
Fair. And especially if it's familial, those are the roughest. But
Not for me.
it was for me. Actually, by the time I got to the point where I was like, no mas, it was really easy. It was emotional, but it was easy. And I think you know the difference. Like, from the first time it happened to the second time it happened. Yeah. I don't care if it's your mom. I don't care if it's your dad. I don't care if it's your granny. If there's issues and that person makes you feel less than stellar, you do not have to deal with it. If the employer makes you feel less than stellar, start doing things to, if you can, fuck them. Peace out. Dip out after lunch. That's what I did. I went back with 2 tote bags, got all my shit, came back home.
You looked visibly lighter the moment you did that, by the way.
Everyone, and that was the remarkable thing. And I never talked about that. Even with you, I didn't, like, the fucking remarkable thing is that every single person I have seen in person since I quit, they're like, you look lighter. You like, because we saw Mom for Sis's birthday celebration. Oh, you look lighter. And I haven't seen her since I quit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you look happy. Well, no shit. No fucking shit.
It's funny how that works.
But the day I did it, on the 2nd, I will never forget that fucking date, will I? Probably not. I got nothing but love. I got nothing but love. I got nothing but support. I got nothing but...
We get it.
Gabby flat out said...
That wasn't toward you. I was saying what people were saying.
100%. Gabby was like, I'm proud that you didn't stay. I'm proud of you for not staying. Proud. And again, outside of you and other situations for personal things, I don't think a lot of people have told me they are proud of me.
I try to tell,
general.
Anytime I'm proud of somebody, I always try to make it a point to tell them, because I know personally I haven't heard that word a lot in my life. You know what I mean? So whenever somebody says it, it's very impactful.
Right.
And that's why it means so much that you are so gracious, I guess. And you tell me that you're proud of me on a regular fucking basis.
Because I know it's hard. This shit is fucking...
And I don't want you doing it just because it gasses me up. Like, I want the genuine one. I don't want the, oh, I'm proud of you for getting up today, buddy. Like, no, motherfucker, I needed to get up and get shit done.
You know I wouldn't tell you that.
But that's what I mean. You don't patronize me.
No. But... like, you are a name on a very short list of people who've told me that they are proud of me.
And I try to do it as often as fucking possible.
Right. But for one, standing up for myself in a professional setting, and 2, doing it in a fashion that most people are like, why would you do that? Why would you just up and leave? Why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you do that? And I thought that there was going to be a lot of, okay, why the hell did you do that? You know,
the people that know you saw how fucking miserable you were.
Yeah, because I ended up telling, 2, 4, 5, 6 people. And all of them were like, fuck yeah. I got some of the best questions out of that. Oz has some, and you know Oz.
Oz has some of the most random fucking best questions ever.
Best fucking questions. I got asked, what feelings have you been released from now?
Somebody's done fucking therapy.
That's why we love Oz. You know, and like I said, Gabby was like, I'm proud of you for not staying. And then we talked about an old job of hers that...
Same kind of thing.
Oof. And I'm happy for you. I'm proud of you. I got nothing but love and support and not
From the
being
people that know about you and care about you.
Yeah.
Like,
and
all
then,
of us saw this shit.
And then immediately, hey, well, if I think, you know, there's some people,
whatever.
at this side, I'll send you a link, blah, blah. That's what I got. And the vast majority of my life, that is not what I got.
Because we've made it a point to get rid of shit people. And we have people around us now that actually give a fuck.
And it's weird.
You know what I mean? And like, and you
it
could
shouldn't
see,
be weird.
You could see the difference in just our demeanors about it. You know, like we don't have to worry about that added layer of bullshit. Like, well, what shit's gonna kick off? Like,
yeah,
we don't have to worry about it anymore.
And I've been having to, because, you know, I've been trying to work on the physical aspects of my anxiety, and it is a lot of work to just not
relax.
It is. I never thought it would be so hard to relax.
Because you're not used to it. You're used to the keeping tense shit. You're not used to just dropping your fucking shoulders and just chilling.
I am not.
Which is weird because you're like the quintessential pothead chick.
Yeah, but there's decades of bullshit behind all that.
There usually is with them too.
Fair.
I've never seen a cute pothead chick that didn't have a ton of fucking baggage. That's why I like them. It's easy to manipulate.
Hey, we don't do that. I am very grateful because that day could have turned out completely different for me. I think she moved her paw on the bed. I really do think that day could have, if I had gotten different
feedback.
Yeah. If I didn't get love and support, which 10 years ago, by some of the people that we were still associating with, not all of them, some of them still would have been like, oh, fucking good for you. But I know that there could have been people that have been like, why the fuck would you do that? How stupid. Well, that wasn't very smart of you. I would have previously gotten responses like that, and I know that for sure. Even though it didn't happen, it's all hypothetical. I know those are answers or responses I would have gotten back. And having that, and having the mindset, and actually having to tell myself, if anything crazy happens, it's an actual emergency. Because for the past however many years, I'm not going to like try to go back of when everyone has been, where we've done a lot of house cleaning when it came to the people that were around us. It just
you realize that it doesn't have to be all crazy shit all the time.
Like
that the normal.
Sorry, my brain just kind of went. And like,
I saw it.
Because there's so much. Like, just thinking of the last apartment I lived in. And I was there maybe a year in that apartment.
Something like that.
Maybe. And just the shit that happened in that apartment, because of who I was still talking to, who I had around, who I had living with me as a quote unquote roommate. Like,
roommates provide some value. I'm just saying.
Zero value. Negative value.
That was a leech.
Negative value. Parasite. Wow, parasite.
Wow, that's what I call parasites. Volume 37 for you. I'm glad you laugh whenever I make jokes like that.
But actually having to tell myself that I can just...
You don't have to be hypervigilant.
No.
You don't have to be ready for
I don't have to
bullshit.
be on guard.
Yeah. Literally, like physically on guard.
Mm-hmm. And staying in relationships, romantic...
We've all done
yeah,
that shit.
Like,
oh, fuck, I could just leave and not deal with this stupid
I don't
shit.
have to talk to that person anymore. Mm-hmm. Regardless of relation.
Or how long you've known them, or how long you've been with them, or whatever the fucking situation
because
is.
After we started this relationship, because we started on...
It wasn't...
Not the best footing. It was bad. We've talked about it. It is not logical for us to be together and still thriving and growing.
It's not logical that we've developed a productive, supportive relationship with each other.
Correct.
It shouldn't have happened. According to every stigma, every book, anything that's ever come out ever,
yes,
we should have failed.
Uh-huh.
And we almost did.
Uh-huh. More than once.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And now, 12 years later, for all intents and purposes, our relationship has never been better.
But ultimately, every other relationship, friendship, whatever kind of relationship it is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Because and we've had conversations like this, if you were unhappy, genuinely unhappy, not about a situation, but if you are genuinely, if it got to a point where you were fucking miserable with me, we're just sitting next to me, made you fucking unhappy, tell me. Let me know.
We've both been in relationships like that.
Uh-huh.
Where it's not even one, it's multiple. Where it's just like,
because
and you even have the thought, why the fuck am I still with this person?
Yeah, 100%.
But you still do it.
Yeah, because
we're done.
of what society might say or what parents may say.
I honestly don't think it's any of that. I think it's our bullshit and nobody else is going to want me.
That is a big part of it.
For me, especially, I know that's true. It's like I've been discarded so much in my life that in relationships, I'm like, I have to hold on to this person because if I lose them, who knows if anybody will love me again.
I remember standing at the courthouse after my first marriage ended. And we said goodbye. We walked our separate ways.
Was it an awkward handshake?
No, it wasn't a handshake.
Side hug.
I think so. I don't remember, actually.
It was quite a while ago.
Yes, it was 13 years ago. And I remember, what did I just do? Even though I was, not that he's a bad person or that it was like an incredibly toxic, like...
You've had way worse relationships than that.
1,000%.
100%.
I have a more toxic I had a more toxic relationship with the person who gave birth to me. Like, that was not my worst relationship by any means. But I didn't want to be in the relationship anymore. Obviously, we were at the courthouse. The fucking shit just got finalized. I didn't want...
There was a lot of steps in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't want the relationship anymore, but it was, what did I just do? And it does feed into the who the fuck is going to want, because I was just about to turn 24.
I was like, you just said 13 years. You're 37 now.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
This shit
I
is
did.
not that difficult.
Wow. My bad. But it was like, who's going to want a 24-year-old
Divorcee.
divorce check? But ultimately, it was for the best, obviously. I'm here now. We're together. We have a beautiful family. We have a great support system. And I wouldn't trade this shit for anything. And that's why, and that is another reason why I left. And why I decided to say, you know what, I'm choosing me in that situation, because I needed to choose me. I needed, for once in my whole entire life, to choose Neish. And that's not something I do. And that's not something that is easy for me. And that is not something I do lightly.
You still have a hard time doing it with me.
Yeah. And
I'm the one that's telling you to fucking do it.
right. Like, you're like, hey, you don't have to. And because you have told me, don't look for another job. Because you know where I am. Mentally, emotionally. You know that it isn't, it's going to be tight. Don't. You know financially, it's going to be tight. You know that, stop.
I'm sorry.
But you have never once called, in this whole ordeal, you've never called me selfish. You've never called me, nothing negative has come from you after I left. And even when you tell me, hey, you've had a rough day, even if I have, since I left, I've been dealing with shit emotionally and mentally. And
it's a depression of sorts.
Yes. And
not as bad as it used to be, luckily.
Hell no. But you're like, hey, why don't you go play a video game? And I'm like, why? Why would I do that? Why am I not? I need to get things accomplished. And you're like, no, the fuck you don't.
Everything's fine.
Everything's good.
You don't have. There's no fire to put out anymore. Like, just calm down.
Yeah, that's hard for me.
No, that's why I make it such a point to tell you on a regular goddamn basis. It's okay. You can relax.
Yeah.
You don't have to fill your time with all of this shit that you think you need to get done.
Right.
And it's not even shit that necessarily has to be done.
I'm just filling time to say that I did something.
I know, and I don't get that anymore. And I was the most guilty of it. You've seen me. I couldn't just sit and enjoy anything. I was constantly on my phone looking at work emails while I'm trying to enjoy wrestling or something. And
we talked about this earlier. I threatened to call your boss.
And my boss has threatened to call you in different situations. And they're like, I'm going to tell Neish. I'm like, God damn it.
That's why we love her.
Both of y'all motherfuckers got me like this.
But it's, at the end of the day, regardless of who you're in a relationship with, who you have in your household, what family you have, whatever family you create, whatever the case is, I sleep next to you every night. But even more so, no matter what, I have to go to sleep with myself.
Because even when you're out, you're laying next to me, but you're not having to deal with me. You still have to deal with your brain while you're asleep.
Yeah. And that's not always a good time. So I think that was very pertinent for me to do. And I think
it was a very big step for you, because I can, like I was saying earlier, I could stand up for you. I can advocate for you. I'll be the fucking muscle as much as I can. It does not bother me. I like telling people to go fuck themselves. For some reason, Buddha be damned, it's one of the things that brings me fucking joy in my life.
But I need to be able to do it for myself.
But if you can't do it for yourself, all the shit that I'm doing for you is never going to mean anything. Because ultimately, you'll just put yourself back in a situation like that or what the fuck ever. And that's not what you're doing anymore.
No.
And you haven't done that for quite some time. And you need to give yourself more credit for that.
I need to give myself more credit overall
in general,
anyway.
But especially for that. Because whenever you were telling the story, you're like, I need to do something for me. Like, no, you've been doing things for you. And that's a good thing. You've been taking care of yourself mentally and emotionally and all that stuff for a good bit now.
Yeah.
And
I don't
you've been
see
doing your own heavy lifting. I'm just here
to listen to me cry
as a
about
sounding
it.
board, basically. And you've even complained about that. Like, well, I shouldn't still, like, why? You're not over it yet. It's okay to talk about the same thing over and over again because guess what? It's still fucking bothering you. And the fucking dumb thing about it is that's the same shit you tell Kaylee and Noe and Logan.
Well, that's because...
And Chris, too, obviously, but...
I'm a halfway decent mom. And I want to support my children.
Yeah, you need to support yourself, too. And you've been doing better at that.
I'm trying. I really am. And I am trying to give myself credit.
Could you not roll your eyes that like I'm pretty sure the eye roll picked up on the fucking mic. That was gnarly.
I guess we'll find out. Leave it in if it's in there. So everyone can hear it.
Ugh, that just reminded me of the Simpsons episode. They're even blinking in unison, and then you hear them.
Oh.
It's just fucking weird.
Gross.
Sorry, I don't know why that popped into my head.
So, I know I've tried to start this sentiment a couple times. But to anyone who may be listening, choose yourself. It's hard. Especially if you were raised like me. Especially if the programming, and I may start crying because I feel it and I really don't care right now, but we'll see. I've been told, how dare I pick my happiness over someone else? Granted, my happiness wasn't used.
Your husband was used in that situation.
Yeah, you are.
I'm glad that means subconsciously you think I'm your happiness.
You are. You are a big... Not... And people are going to be like, that's codependent.
I know.
And I don't mean in a codependent way.
Your partner should be a source of your fucking happiness, period.
Yes.
And if they're not... It's like the people that say, oh, I hate my... Well, why the fuck are you with them?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because if you're upset...
If you're upset, it bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, period. That's it. Like,
yes.
I don't like it. And not because, oh, we'll just suck it up. I don't like you being upset. I don't like seeing you down. I don't like any of that. I hate I've told you how many times that you deserve so much better in this life than the shit hand you were dealt, because you are a good fucking person. And I mean that. Like, even if you weren't my wife, I wouldn't want to see you upset.
That's fair. And likewise. But, like, it's hard not to turn it into, I'm choosing me, and not have it feel like
you're being selfish or self-centered or whatever.
Self-absorbed. That I'm betraying other people. That I'm not a good...
Insert.
Noun.
Yeah.
Title. Mm-hmm. I think title would be more.
Either way.
Because daughter, mom, wife. And I'm still struggling with that.
I know.
But to anybody who needs kind of... who's in that same mindset, it gets a little bit easier every day. But I would say to ultimately choose yourself. Because even though I'm still struggling with feeling like a bad partner in this marriage for quitting a job because there's income that is lost now. I feel like maybe I may be being a bad example for our kids.
You're teaching our kids to stand up for themselves, even if there's mitigating factors.
Yeah.
And we've tried to impart that to them no matter what.
Yeah. And even if you are not as lucky as I have been to have a partner to say, hey, look, I got your back 100%. We'll make it through whatever. We got this. You don't have to find another job. You don't have to go and put yourself out and wear yourself thin. And because it's not like I'm doing nothing. I'm still trying to take care of our children and the household and myself and you. I mean, not saying that
you don't have to explain it.
But the people need the 3 people that listen to this.
It's more than that now.
The
actually.
millions that listen to this.
And millions.
Yes.
Sorry, you said the people, and I immediately went people's elbow. Like,
I got you. Start making moves then immediately. Because the faster you get the fuck out, the faster you distance yourself from that job, from that person, from that relationship, whether it be romantic or otherwise. And it's hard to like stop. And it's hard for me to say this because I've struggled so much with losing friends.
every single one of those things.
Yeah, all of it. All of it. I second guess myself. And if you feel like you don't have a support system or that you need someone as a sounding board and be like, am I overreacting? Am I underreacting? And I think that is a question that needs to start. Am I underreacting in this situation? Am I being too chill about it? Because that's me.
That's what happened. And I was just like, no, this shit's not fucking normal. This is not right. There's certain circumstances that should have, like, no. That's the shit you ask your homies. Like, I got to do some sketchy shit. I need somebody to get my back. And your friends do that. It should not be a familial relationship that does that. Anyway.
So many things. So many.
And I was only there for a handful of them.
You're going to second guess yourself. And if you feel like you have... fucking message me, whoever you are. Like, I don't know you and I haven't been looking in this camera this whole fucking time. Fucking message me, social media, whatever it is, message Robert, whatever it is, because I know what it's like to have no one.
That's okay.
And yes, I had a mother. Yes, I had a brother whom I do not speak with now.
Because of your poor decisions.
And I think the latter is a direct result from the former. The former. Because I think my words are twisted and I think... and that
regardless, you don't
whatever.
know. You don't know that
whatever.
For sure.
It's inconsequential at this point. It's been years.
Literal years.
And I know what it's, and those 2 were my only relatives that I had. And at a certain point, I felt like I had no one else either. Mm-hmm. When I had them, I guess I should say, when I quote unquote had them as people to talk to, they weren't. It's hard to say this without like fucking...
I hear tap dancing in my head right now. Sorry.
That was a good one. Sorry.
I'm not joking. I literally heard it.
I gotta dance around it. I have to, because I'm not. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna say names. I'm not gonna.
It really doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. Sorry, I have to like work around that shit. But I know what it's like to feel like you have
Nothing.
knowing no one to talk to, no one to like, hey.
Well, I mean, we've had to deal with that too in a giant group of motherfuckers that were constantly around us.
That too, and as a couple, we've had. Yep,
You
that's
know what
true.
I mean? It's like, and we've had conversations amongst ourselves. It's like, am I reading this shit wrong? And I'm like, no, yeah, it does. Like, fucking A, how is this possible?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah. So. Even if you feel like you're overreacting, even if you feel like you're underreacting, obviously don't do anything to hurt anyone else.
I don't know. Some of these motherfuckers need a punch in the goddamn teeth.
You know what? Okay. Real quick, side quest 5.
No, it's way more than 5 at this point.
Okay,
I
well-
stopped counting.
Okay, well, we stopped counting at 4, so this one's 5. All the other ones were part of side quest 4, I guess.
Alternate reality.
I just want to fucking pop people in the mouth. That's what I wish I could do to adults.
No, I don't want to pop
Just-
them in the mouth. I want to fucking pop them in the mouth because I know I could just land one good one and knock them 2 front ones out.
My thing is, it's like, okay, Tom Segura has the change my diaper.
Change my
Diaper. I feel it would be just as condescending to pop someone in the mouth like people used to do to children.
No. Fucking stop.
Yes.
Don't say that.
Yes. Oh. Oh. I want to do that to people so bad. Because,
Please don't.
like, a person,
We don't have bail money.
like,
anymore.
adults expect a punch. Like, if it's going to get in a physical altercation, punches are expected. Me doing a fucking putazo in the back of your head or popping you in the mouth.
The putazo's still aggressive, especially living in Texas with as many Mexicanos. That'll send everybody back into some fucking shit, and it's not going to go well. That's super aggressive, actually, I think.
Or thumping someone in the forehead.
I personally like the forehead slap because every time I do it to the kids, they just like it's like a reset button. You hit them,
Oh.
and they're like, "What
Oh.
the fuck was that?"
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, that's right. I was acting like an asshole.
Nah.
Whew. But, yeah, just fucking pop people in the mouth. Anyway, sorry. Regardless of how you feel or what support system you feel like you have, still pick yourself. Be your own support system if you feel like you have no one and you don't feel like depending on anyone else, because it's hard for me to depend on other people. And I understand that. Because I have the programming of no one will love you as much as I do. No one will be there for you like I will.
And not in a roundabout way, in a very direct.
those
these words
words.
were said.
Those words.
It's not like you're inferring this from actions. It's like, yeah, the actions matched, but the words were said. The literal words. were said.
1,000%. And it's. So I know what it's like to not trust people, to not want to rely on people, to not want to depend on people because you were told that you can't depend on anyone else. I get it. So still do that for yourself, regardless. That's the moral. That's my fucking Mr. Rogers lesson. My fucking sign off. Choose yourself. Because the right people will be 1,000% on board with you choosing yourself and taking care of yourself first. Because like that video that we saw the other day, you can't pour from an empty cup. No, bitches, you get nothing from my cup anymore. You get extra. If I have extra,
Then cool.
then I
not,
might
sorry.
evaluate the situation depending on who you are and what the request is. Luckily, we have done a lot of the pruning of people that the requests that we're going to get are not outlandish and like, oh, my friend got kidnapped and we need to drive to New Braunfels in the middle of the night. Here, let's pop some fucking hydrocodone and go. Like, I don't get those requests anymore. And I wish I was
really wish that was from a
I
sitcom
was
or
lying.
something, and I know for a fact it's not. And I laugh not because it's funny, but it's just like, that's a real fucking thing that happened.
I was talking to Noe. Yesterday. We were waiting for Kaylee to get to the car. And we were talking about something, and I had to give an example of why I'm very glad they don't have to deal with this type of
insanity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was telling Noe about someone needing to be so right in a situation that they went out, purchased stuff, did the stuff with someone else, and then said, "See, I fucking told you." And Noe looked at me
that's
like
Lifetime movie shit. You know what I mean?
That's psychotic. Like that's in like what's that chick's name? Gypsy Rose, the one who deleted her mom.
Oh.
Because of the not Munchausen. Is it Munchausen or Stockholm or whatever?
Stockholm. What? Regardless,
she made her daughter sick.
Yeah.
And then the daughter was like, "Oh, I'm not sick. Oh, okay."
Munchausen by proxy. That's
there.
What
You go.
is.
There you go. But like, it's that level of insanity. That's what I equated to. Obviously, not in the same vein of
the exact extreme, but
still fucking extreme.
It's not good. Yeah.
So I get not having those types of people, or the people that are supposed to be that. And we've done a lot to get a lot of those kinds of people out. So again, the requests we're getting are not outlandish.
They're reasonable. It's like, hey, let's have a cookout.
Or hey,
whoa,
would you mind helping me moving something?
Yeah.
Something big.
You know, normal shit.
Yeah. Not, hey, we need to go get my car. If you have a gun, bring it. I looked at Noah yesterday after I told him that story. I was like, I wish I was lying to you. I don't like lying to you guys. I wish I was lying to you.
Like, I wish I would. And how many times have we had that conversation where it's just like, as kids, we make up crazy shit to make our lives more interesting. As adults, we're looking back and we're just like, oh, I can't make up something that fucking nuts.
I can honestly tell you, I don't think I've made up situations in my life that made it more.
Well, like, as a kid, I know I did. Especially as dudes, you oversell everything, whatever the fuck.
I knew the crazy shit I had.
And it's just like, and then I would tell the true stories that I didn't think were interesting. Like having a gun pulled on me at a very young age. And you just see that look from fucking everybody. Just like, that's the crazy one.
That look right there is one of the most just heartbreaking looks to get.
And you realize it because you see it happening to them, and then you realize what's happening to you, and you're like, oh fuck.
That's not normal.
Shit.
She's not supposed to yell, well, bring your ass out into the fucking street, and then the dumbass does it, and then she's not supposed to mash on the gas and hit him. And then he flies in the air and then lands on the sidewalk in front of the whole house with, like...
I did that to Kevin at one point.
You were a kid when he did that, right?
Well, we were fucking around, too, and he thought it was equally as funny.
But you were a child, right?
A teenager, yeah.
Yeah. You weren't the parent of someone?
Yeah. I was still a few years away from having kids at that point, luckily.
So I believe me, I get it.
You said you won't run me over. I said, yes, I will. He said, no, you won't. And he ended up on my hood.
I'm just saying. But like...
And then we were both laughing our asses off, and he rolled off, and I drove off.
Fucking shit. But...
I totally forgot about that story. Sorry.
People don't get from what's in my cup anymore. Including a fucking job. Especially a job that does not give two fucks about me. Because when and the thing is that I did, and that's what a lot of people just sit in silence in it. Mm-hmm. I brought shit up ways to fix things, ways to go around things, in a ethical manner.
The fact that that's a qualifier, that's so sad.
Am I wrong?
No, that's why I laughed, because it's tragic.
The people who actually give a shit about you are going to be okay that you pick you. And that's the biggest thing I've learned since I quit. The people who give a fuck about whether you live or die, whether you wake up in the morning, how you are feeling, they don't care that I quit a job because it wasn't the responsible thing to do. Like, no one's going to give me shit because they saw how it hurt me on an emotional level, on a mental level. And so even if you do choose yourself and you get a bunch of fucking sideways comments of, that wasn't smart, what the fuck is wrong with you, and not support,
those ain't your people.
you don't need them.
Off.
You don't need them. And I don't give a shit if you popped out that woman's pussy. It's okay. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to choose yourself. It's okay. Because like me, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. And if, yes, 100%, if I don't choose myself, how can I tell my kids to choose
because
themselves?
You're telling them that, but you're not showing
how can
them
I
that.
tell my husband, I support you, which I do wholeheartedly, and you know that. How can I tell you, take care of yourself, while you watch me not take care of myself? So take care of yourself, fucking shit. And I'm still actively learning this. I'm still actively putting this into practice. I'm still actively doing this. And it is still actively fucking hard to do these. But do it anyway. Wake up. Splash some water on your face. Fucking look at yourself in the mirror and be like, and if you need to write it down, or I am loved. I feel loved. I have love in me. I have whatever it is. Don't do it for anyone else. Because yes, doing it for myself, for you guys, is a huge thing for me. Because I want my husband to have a wife who is as put together as she can be. I want my children to have a mom who can be there for them. So they don't have to have the water wings or the arm floaties, you know? And again, that's for my comedy people. Like, I know I've been a hypocrite in my life. I get it. I don't want to be a hypocrite anymore on this one. I can't. Because we've done nothing but tell the kids, do this now. So you're not in your whatever age we are, in our 30s, whatever, figuring it out. And we've told them that so many times.
About so many different things, too.
And I do understand that a person cannot learn. They can take advice and they can try to avoid.
They still have to have their own experience.
They still have to have their own mistakes. And I know that the kids are going to do their own shit and they're going to make their own decisions, blah, 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 blah.
But they have to feel comfortable enough to do that and know it's not the end of the world, unlike us.
That, and that it's okay for them to do it for themselves. Even if no one else understands.
Or even if
why.
you fucking fail at it.
Yeah.
Like, even if it is a bad decision, like, whatever. It's your decision. You made it. It's okay.
It is. And I can't be an effective parent. An effective person. An effective fucking human being. If I don't choose myself. At least most of the time. If not all the time. But I understand there's
sometimes you do have to suck it up.
Because there's going
shit
to,
that's got to be done. Like, yes, I agree with that.
And I don't know when this is going to be put out, which is fine, whatever. But I'm going to try to just, and I know that do or do not, there is no try. I get it.
I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense, actually.
No, you have to try.
That's why I love that scene in Rebels between Ezra and fucking Kanan. And he just like, yeah, come to think of it, that didn't really make sense to me either. It was like,
yes, and I do understand.
but I do subscribe to that. It's like, you can only do it. You can't do it and not do it at the same time.
Fair.
So I get the point of what he was saying.
I can do the steps. I can try to do the steps every day.
But ultimately, you're either doing it or you're not doing it.
I know. But I know I don't have near as much to deal with mentally. But I know that there's some
sleepers in there.
There's some shit still there.
You ain't made it that far back in the closet just yet.
No. I'm digging out Christmas presents from like 95, okay? Yeah. Because you have to go way back. And that's another thing. Anyone who's doing a health or a mental health journey, excuse me, you got to dig it all up. I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you. Whoever.
It
yes.
doesn't always mean that it's bad, though.
It's not bad. You have to dig it up. You have to dig it up.
And
you have to
you
experience
might not
it.
have been ready for it initially. So on the journey, as you've made progress, you have to understand that other things are going to come up later.
They are.
Probably.
And it's going to fucking suck.
Because that's the thing that I've been trying to get you to understand, too.
It's not fun.
I am well aware of that. I've dealt with the exact same thing very recently. So it's like, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. I will be doing my best every day to be the best niche that I can be for me. And then subsequently,
by proxy, everybody else gets a benefit from it.
yeah.
That's what I was telling you the other day
Yeah.
whenever I was talking about my shit. It's like, I didn't do it for anybody else. For once in my life, I didn't do this because this person wanted me to do it or whatever the fuck. I myself wanted to be different. So I did it for me. Finally, in my life, I did it for me. And everybody else, I mean, again, sounds grandiose, narcissistic, whatever. Everybody else is getting the benefit of it.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
because
true. It's the truth.
Kaylee even feels more comfortable around me now. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
the literal, it's what the government should be doing with the trickle-down effect or trickle-down economics. Because it's.
And I'm not greedy whenever it comes to it. It's
Of course not.
I'm the one that I finally realized that if I'm happy, I can help make everybody else happy.
Yeah.
I can take whatever weight I need to, and it doesn't overwhelm me. It doesn't beat me down because I've taken care of myself first.
Yeah.
And realizing that has been the biggest fucking game changer for me.
Yeah.
Because, again, with the cup thing, I don't give to anybody out of my cup. Yada, yada. I get that part, too, and I agree with that part. But there's this thing in me and in you, too, where you constantly want to take care of the people that you love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not bad. It's bad whenever you've given to all these other motherfuckers or the job or whatever, and it's taken away from all that you can or would have been able to give to your family.
Luckily, those motherfuckers aren't around anymore.
Agreed.
And it's been over a decade from when the trash was removed.
Close to it, yeah.
Yeah. And I thought he was going to the bathroom. No. Oh, they did it quietly. They're so good. I love our kids.
It's been over a decade.
That the bullshit has been gone. Like the bullshit people. And I'm just glad we like, and I was just telling you this. I want to say yesterday, but
It was either yesterday or the day before.
it could have been 5 months ago. I am so thankful we are where we are instead of where we were. And I know hindsight is 2020 and blah blah blah, but
Well, I finally got glasses, so that really sped everything up.
I've had glasses since I was like 11. What's my excuse?
Exactly.
We both know what it is. That bitch.
What is the excuse, babe?
That bitch. Glasses may have been there, but she was like, no.
No, it was just Crisco, and you didn't realize there was fucking Crisco on it.
Oh.
You
So
know
it's
exactly
all-
what the fuck I'm talking
Yeah.
about, too.
Yeah, I do. It's not, none of this is easy. And I had a good day today.
Had a pretty good day yesterday.
I had a pretty good day yesterday. And I'm going to do my damnedest to have a good day tomorrow and every subsequent day after. But I also am smart. And I know that not every day is going to be a good day.
No, that's fine.
But I am incredibly grateful. And I don't know how else to say this without sounding like a fucking Hallmark card. But I am so grateful for you. You know me better than anyone. We have had our issues. But who you are now, the man sitting in front of me, you're fucking amazing. And thank you. Because I would not make it through most of the shit that comes up without you. And yes, I know I need to do these things by myself and for myself and yada yada.
Yeah, but if you have somebody that's willing to help you, why the fuck wouldn't you do it? I've told you that for fucking years.
Yeah.
It's like, you have somebody that's willing to go through all this shit with you now. Like, you don't have to shoulder the load on your own. And I know that's the most overwhelming part. You do have to do things for yourself, too. But you got somebody that'll take the rest of this shit off of you, at least.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So, again, if you feel like you don't have someone to talk to, please talk to us. At least. Even if you don't know me, if you've never met me in person. Like,
I still like talking to fucking people, apparently, so
yeah.
I enjoy having random conversations and trying to help people for some reason.
Because you're a good person.
Don't ask that question to a lot of my exes.
You were a different person. The way you handled things were at your level of knowledge of communication and how to not be a piece of shit. And for all of us...
I didn't know that one.
Well, yeah. Neither did I.
Different shit, same smell.
Yeah. Polished turd. Still a turd. I just derailed my own train of thought. That's fun.
Talk to us.
But yeah, just don't.
Nobody's ever
As-
really alone. You're
yeah.
alone because you choose to be alone.
And I know that may sound kind of mean, but just
There's resources. There's people available. There's people willing to listen to you talk.
yeah.
Like that's it.
And even if it feels difficult because of a familial thing or people that you thought were going to be there and they weren't, I get it. Because and I can sit here and say this as a person who 3 years ago, I didn't want to be here anymore. It gets better. The vast majority of people in your life are bullshit. And as soon as you start getting rid of that bullshit and realize that you are important, whoever you
all
are,
by yourself. All fucking by
in
yourself.
whatever condition you're in, whatever condition your body's in, whatever condition you are mentally, emotionally, who you are in this very moment is more than enough and is worthy of feeling how I feel. And feeling loved, feeling supported by other people. But you should also feel that for and about yourself. So please do that. I'm still working on it. I get it. So I'm not like the poster child of it. But it's
Gotta
still
start somewhere.
it's still very important to do. And it's not selfish, and it's not meaningless, and it's not worthless or not. It's very worthy of your time to do. And I think that's all I have about this one. Is there anything that you would like to add to my...
I don't know what this... Yeah, it's you. I feel like this was a very good conversation for you to have. Because it seemed like a lot of things just kind of...
Yeah.
And...
That's another reason why I love doing this with you. Or just talking to you in general, if I'm being honest.
I was say, we fucking have the most random, deep, meaningful conversations at the oddest fucking times. We
do.
saw a fucking TikTok from Bert Kreischer. And it sent us into this beautiful fucking conversation. Where he was talking about Leanne.
Oh...
And that just sent us, and it was a great fucking
Yes.
conversation that we had.
We do have a lot of great conversations.
Anyway.
But if anyone is out there, and I know I've said this, reach out. If it's somebody that you can trust and that you already have a connection with, great. And if it's a hotline, that's great too. Because I talked to a hotline 3 years ago. And I'm still here.
And I'm proud of you for that.
It's scary. All of this is scary.
Life is fucking scary if you're paying fucking attention.
It is.
Because if you ain't scared with just the condition of what's going on, i.e. us hurling through space on a fucking mud ball that shouldn't exist because we can't
with a
find
fiery center.
proof of us anywhere else, if that thought in and of itself doesn't fucking terrify you, I don't fucking trust you. You're not paying the fuck attention. Sorry.
But if all else fails, you still got us. So if you don't want to talk to somebody that works for a hotline, fucking message us. Because at the end of the day, no matter who you are, no matter what mistakes you've made, no matter where you came from, you still deserve love and
Peace
if
and happiness.
and if
everything.
from no one else, from yourself. Do it for yourself. Till next time, guys. Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you like the show or know somebody who would, please subscribe and share to help us grow the show. You can follow us on all socials at thatinfernalnpc. You can listen on YouTube and Podbean at That Infernal Noise or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Please tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.